Tensions remain high in the Middle East after the U.S. and Iran signed a deal on Wednesday to pause hostilities between the two countries for 60 days to begin final negotiations. Hezbollah and Israel continued trading fire in southern Lebanon before those two sides agreed to a renewed ceasefire on Friday. Torian Small is at the White House with the latest. Torian, good morning.
Good morning, Adriana. New this morning, Axios is reporting U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff is headed to Switzerland to start negotiations on a final agreement, hoping to get things back on track after Iran abruptly postponed a Friday meeting with Vice President J.D. Vance amid renewed fighting in Lebanon.
This is a brand new hangar.
President Trump rolling out his new Air Force One Friday.
With the extraordinary devotion of many of you here today, this plane was transformed into a flying White House at a level of luxury that nobody's ever seen before.
A Boeing 747 outfitted in red, gold, and blue, a gift to the president from Qatar worth $400 million. Overshadowing the reveal, the turbulence surrounding his Iran deal.
It's 60 days. They have to make a deal, otherwise we will do things that won't make them happy.
Vice President Vance was set to fly to Switzerland Friday to lead the next round of negotiations, but those peace talks grounded.
Israel has the right to defend itself, but fundamentally, the Israelis, just like everybody else, have to respect this peace process that is fundamentally good for them and good for the entire region.
Israel and Hezbollah trading deadly fire in Lebanon this week, straining the U.S. Iran agreement, which also calls for an end to hostilities in Lebanon. Tehran is now demanding guarantees the fighting in Lebanon stops before it returns to the negotiating table. Back home, bipartisan alarm on Capitol Hill. One of the flashpoints, a $300 billion Iran reconstruction fund as part of the agreement.
If we give billions of dollars to Iran, that money will be used to murder Americans. And so I don't believe we should do that.
Now he's going to allow the Iranians to get hundreds of billions of dollars, sell their, remove sanctions, sell their oil on the open market. We got nothing out of this.
But President Trump pushing back, insisting on social media Iran came to the table weaker, writing, quote, "They are finished," and vowing Iran gets, quote, "not 10 cents.
The State Department confirmed the next round of negotiations between Israel and Lebanon is scheduled to start here in Washington on Tuesday. And as for Trump's new Air Force One, it still needs to pass final exams before it can be used to transport the president. Kelly?
Torian, thank you so much. For more, we're joined by CBS News national security contributor Samantha Vinograd. Good morning, Sam. Always great to have you when we are talking about these types of subjects. I want to start with this memorandum of understanding. President Trump signed that on Wednesday. In the last few days, so many things have changed about whether negotiations are happening or not. What is your read of the situation and the path towards potential peace?
Well, Kelly, let's just start with what's changed since this document was signed. What's changed is that the United States has lifted its military blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, and the Iranian regime has pledged basically not to attack ships passing through the strait. Because of that, we started to see a slight uptick in commercial vessels going in and out of the Strait of Hormuz, which means that more commodities like oil could start to reach the market again. So that has certainly changed. In terms of the other goals that President Trump had outlined for this war, including regime change, getting rid of Iran's missiles and its nuclear program, none of that has really changed yet. Instead, there's supposed to be these working level or technical talks kicking off. But as you discussed earlier in the program, there have been problems with getting those started.
And Sam, Israel, of course, is not a party to this memorandum of understanding between the U.S. and Iran, but fighting between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon is one of the main sticking points for Iran. So how can the U.S. and Iran negotiate peace without Israel involved?
Well, to be clear, Israel is fighting a designated foreign terrorist organization, Hezbollah, in Lebanon. Israel and Hezbollah have separately signed a ceasefire document a few years ago. That ceasefire was renewed a few days ago, but they continue to trade fire. President Trump has tried to put pressure on Prime Minister Netanyahu to stop responding to Hezbollah attacks. However, Israel continues to be under fire from Hezbollah, and within Israel itself, there are domestic politics. And many members of Prime Minister Netanyahu's government continue to pressure him to continue the fighting. So it's unclear whether Prime Minister Netanyahu and Israel will abide by the terms of this MOU that they never agreed to, Adriana.
And of course, Hezbollah is also a proxy for Iran, and so there's that complicating factor as well. We just heard Torian talk about this $300 billion reconstruction fund, sort of incentivize both sides here. Do we know who would be on the hook to pay for that?
We have heard that, according to the U.S. administration, neighboring countries, regional countries like Qatar, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and others would put money into this reconstruction fund that could be up to $300 billion. I'm not holding my breath, frankly, to see deposits into this fund at this time. What I'm more concerned about, Kelly, is the fact that right now, as we're speaking, Iran is authorized under the terms of this document to sell its oil on the open market. Those sales had, before this MOU, been sanctioned. Iran was prohibited from selling that oil. Now they're getting potentially tens of billions of dollars in a windfall of revenues from these oil sales. So they're being enriched for as long as this memorandum of understanding is in effect. And they may just seek to drag out negotiations so that they continue to make money.
All right, Sam Vinograd, thank you so much.